Are you looking to move to Charles County, but you have no clue where to start? Let me go over the top 3 towns according to niche.com before you make any decisions about where to live. All right, what's up everybody? My name is Rob Scow and I'm with eXp Realty in Southern Maryland. If this is your first time on their channel, make sure you scroll down, click the subscribe button so you're notified every single time we put out new content about living in Southern Maryland. Also, if you want, you can scroll down to the first comment and click on that link in the comment and we'll schedule a Zoom meeting one-on-one with me so we can talk about your home buying needs when you're moving to Southern Maryland. And last but not least, reach out to me using my phone number below, call me, text me, and I can help make your move to Southern Maryland so much easier. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, we're gonna talk about the top 3 towns to live in Charles County, according to niche.com. Now, niche.com is an awesome website that I highly recommend to everybody when they're looking to move to a new area. But to make it a little easier today, I'm just going to go over it with you and kind of point out some of the highlights. I'm going to go ahead and list them. So number 1 is La Plata, Maryland. According to niche.com, La Plata, Maryland is the top town. Number 2 is Waldorf, Maryland. And number 3 is Hugosville. Now, La Plata, Waldorf, and Hugosville are very different towns. So stay tuned because I want to talk about each one of these. I'm going to start with Hugosville, go to La Plata, and then end with Waldorf. So make sure you stay all the way to the end. So like I said, we're going to start with Hugosville. Now, if you look on my map that I have here right now, this is Hugosville. It's a little bit east of La Plata and southeast of Waldorf. So I would consider it more kind of like almost northern St. Mary's or, western Calvert. Calvert County is right here and St. Mary's is this part right here. So it's pretty far removed from Waldorf and La Plata. So it's going to be a little bit different, but kind of going through Hugosville itself, Hugosville is ranked pretty well. So we're going to go ahead and click on its rankings and let's take a look how it ranks in Charles County. So if you look, Hugosville has the number 2 public schools in Charles County, is the number 3 best place to live in Charles County, like we talked before, the number 3 place to raise a family in Charles County, and the number 5 out of 6 of the most diverse places in Charles County. Now you're probably wondering, like, how do they come up with these rankings and what all of this means? There's different kind of data they take in. Kind of a general overview of Hugosville. The population is really small and Hugosville is not a big area. It's about 2,000 to 4,000 people. This one's 2,525. It gets decent marks for public schools, housing, good for families, a little bit lower for nightlife, and I can understand why, because there's not a ton of stuff to do around there. And honestly, this price right here, because you're getting closer to that capital region, it's not horrible, but compared to other homes in the area of Southern Maryland, it is a little bit higher than, say, Waldorf or even Lexington Park or other places like that. But for the size of homes, it's not horrible of a price there too. And I know a lot of people, when I do these kind of videos and say the median home sales price is $477, I get a lot of comments saying, hey, well, I bought a house for $750. That's definitely a wrong price. Now, remember, median does not mean that's like the most expensive. It means it's kind of like that average house that's there is about $477. Something interesting right here, you can see most people do not rent in Hugosville, and the median rent is $639. Obviously, they're not renting this house right here. They're renting out rooms or they're renting out smaller apartment kind of things in Hugosville. All right, so let's go ahead and go to La Plata now. We're going to move west from Hugosville and we're going to reach La Plata. Now, La Plata is this area right here. It is south of Waldorf and it's down 301. So it's fairly, removed from Waldorf, but I would definitely call it more of a suburb of Waldorf. All right, so going over its information, if we look at La Plata, it's got a population of about 10,000. It's more densely suburban than rural like Hugosville was. And those home prices, because there's all different types of housing opportunities in there and housing types in there, is a little bit more reasonable. Now, don't get me wrong. There are still some, McMansions in La Plata that can go for, high sevens up to $1 million. But there's also a bunch of townhouses and things like that that are more budget-friendly options for people that are looking, as a starter home or things like that in the area too. So La Plata is nice because there are different housing options there compared to Hugosville, where there's not a whole bunch of different housing options and housing types there. There is a little bit more of a rental market in La Plata, and the median rent is that right around $1,300 a month. Actually, sorry, right around $1,400 a month. Now, going down to La Plata ranks really well in Charles County for a lot of things. It is ranked number 1 overall, like we talked about. So La Plata ranks number 1 in Charles County for professionals. It ranks number 1 in the best place to live in Charles County, number 1 of the most diverse places in Charles County, number 1 with the best schools in Charles County, number 1 with the best suburbs for young professionals in Charles County. And you can just see, for the most part, besides these right here, it's ranked really high, and a lot of people love moving to La Plata for that reason. The nice thing about La Plata is you can still commute to DC and other areas that are up 301 and up, Route 5, but you're removed from Waldorf that has a ton more residents. So in a second, we're going to go over Waldorf. Waldorf's kind of one of those places that some people love it, some people can't wait to leave it, but I think it serves a purpose, and I think it's something that, I can see both sides of it. I'm not someone that likes people right next to me, and that's what Waldorf is. Waldorf has a lot of people packed in it. So if you're someone that needs to live near Waldorf, La Plata might be that really good choice because it's a little more spread out. It's not that, really densely populated area that Waldorf is. So, for a little bit less or for a little bit longer commute and maybe a little bit more home prices, you can move down to La Plata and kind of reap some of the benefits of being down there. All right, so the last one I'm going to talk about is Waldorf. Now, this is the number 2 town in Charles County, and I honestly think it's probably the most well-known town in Charles County. When I'm talking to new buyers, especially when they're PCSing, to Andrews Air Force Base, or they're working, in DC, one of the first places I hear them ask me about is Waldorf. And either they have an opinion that, hey, I want to be there because it's close and the property prices are not that expensive, or they're like, hey, I don't want to be there because, the property prices are low, I'm going to be really crowded with other people, and I just don't really like that feel, and that's not what Southern Maryland, that Southern Maryland feel I'm looking for. It's definitely, a personal preference if you want to live in Waldorf or not. Now, I would say Waldorf is great because of everything being right there. That is so unique to Southern Maryland. In Southern Maryland, normally it's a 20-30 minute drive to get to anything. In Waldorf, everything is right there. You have the Waldorf Mall, you have Target, you have I'm just naming the big things off the top of my head, but just so much stuff right there in Waldorf that you don't really need to leave. In Piney Point, where I live, we have the Piney Point Market. That's it. I have to travel 15, 20, 30 minutes just to get anything. So I get why people are a little bit upset when they're in Waldorf and there's traffic and there's people and stuff like that. But that convenience that Waldorf gives you will come at the price of more people. All right, so enough of me talking about it. Let's go over and look at its rankings. It ranks B for public schools, B- for housing, B for good for families, a B- for nightlife, and an A for diversity. And actually, Waldorf is one of the most diverse suburbs in all of Maryland, and especially in Southern Maryland. You'll see that ranking a little further down. So the population of Waldorf, and this includes just the Waldorf in general, also some zip codes that are outside of Waldorf, but consider Waldorf added this population. So definitely, that's one of the largest populations in Southern Maryland. It's considered dense suburban, and you can see the home values are a lot lower than other areas that we talked about in Charles County. And if you watch my St. Mary's County videos and my Calvert County videos, it's one of the lowest property price points that you're going to see in any of those videos. And that's because there's so many different housing options that, those property prices tend to go down when you have so many different townhomes and apartments and things that are fitting more people into that small area. Now, there are still single family homes that you can find in Waldorf. There are a ton of them actually that still go for a premium. But because there's so many townhomes, because there's so many people in Waldorf, those home prices definitely are less than other areas in Southern Maryland. All right, so going down, we're going to go ahead and look through its rankings and how it ranks in Charles County. All right, so like I said, it still ranks really well. So if you look at Waldorf right here, it's ranked number 1 in the best places to raise a family, number 1 in the best suburbs in Charles County to raise a family, number 2 for the best places for young professionals, number 2 for the best places to live. So, it still ranks really high. It does rank middle of the pack in Charles County for public schools, and it definitely ranks a little bit lower in diversity of the suburbs. Now, diversity, according to niche.com, kind of encompasses everything: age, race, religion, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, going through these stats, it's only out of 6 or out of 5, depending on if we're looking at towns or suburbs. so there's not a lot of data, but you can see these top 3 ones, so you can see it ranks in the top ones of there, and the property prices are good. And so looking at these, it definitely ranks pretty high in comparison to other places in Charles County. But like I said, Waldorf can be that place you either love to be there because it's so convenient, or you don't like it because there's too many people and too much traffic. So you really got to get in there and feel if it's right for you. So hopefully this information was helpful about moving to Southern Maryland, and specifically the ranking of the top 3 towns in Charles County. If you have any questions or need any help, make sure you use that contact information below. Call me, text me, and I'd be happy to help you make your decision about moving to Southern Maryland a whole lot easier. You can also scroll down to the first comment, click on that link, and it'll schedule a Zoom meeting one-on-one with me, and we can talk about your home buying needs. And last but not least, if you have not yet, make sure you click the subscribe button, click the little bell so you're notified every single time we put out new content about moving to Southern Maryland. Hope to see you on the next video.